What if I told you that the way a man behaves in moments of intimacy could reveal his true feelings far more than any words ever could? Carl Jung, the renowned psychologist, believed that true love isn't just about what is said. It's something expressed unconsciously through closeness. The way a man holds you, looks at you, or even breathes with you in those vulnerable moments can unveil what he truly has in his heart. So, how can you know if it's more than just physical? Jung's research into the unconscious points toward four undeniable signs. These are powerful, subtle behaviors that only emerge when a man is deeply and truly in love. Jung taught us that love isn't just an emotion. It's a fusion of souls, where raw, unfiltered instincts rise to the surface. When a man is genuinely emotionally connected, his body and spirit reveal truths he may not even be consciously aware of himself. Today, we will explore four intimate gestures that, according to Jungian psychology, prove his love goes far beyond mere attraction. These are not just habits. They are unconscious rituals of devotion. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly what to look for. Number 1. The deep gaze during intimacy. There is something almost mystical about a prolonged gaze during moments of closeness. It's something that transcends physical attraction and touches the very heart of emotional connection. Carl Jung often said that the eyes are the windows to the soul, and for good reason. In his research on the unconscious, Jung understood that the gaze is one of the few involuntary gateways to our deepest selves. Unlike words, which we can choose carefully or even manipulate, the eyes reveal truths that the mind may not yet be ready to admit. When a man holds your gaze during these vulnerable moments, it's not just an act of passion, it's a silent confession. He isn't just looking at you, he is letting you see him as he truly is. And that is one of the greatest forms of surrender a person can offer. This kind of intense eye contact is rare because it requires a huge level of emotional presence. Many men, conditioned by society, have learned to compartmentalize. For them, physical closeness can be separated from emotions, just a physical act rather than a union. But when a man is deeply in love, something shifts. His unconscious need for true connection overrides the habit of detachment. His gaze remains locked with yours because, in that moment, he isn't just physically exposed, he is emotionally laid bare. Jung would say, this is the anima at work, the feminine side of his psyche that craves depth, intimacy, and fusion. In this context, the eyes become a bridge between two souls, not just two bodies. Conversely, avoiding eye contact can also say a lot. A man who looks away during intimacy may still feel desire or even affection, but there is likely an emotional barrier. Perhaps he fears the vulnerability that comes with being truly seen, or maybe he is protecting a part of himself that he isn't ready to confront. In Jung's language, this avoidance can signal unresolved shadows, unacknowledged fears, or past wounds that prevent him from giving himself completely. The eyes cannot lie like words can, and for many, avoiding the gaze becomes a way to maintain control. But when a man allows you this intense visual bond, it speaks volumes. It means he trusts you, not just with his body, but with his true self, the imperfect and vulnerable person beneath the surface. There's a reason why lovers instinctively close their eyes when they kiss, then open them afterward, as if to confirm the reality of the person before them. This moment of reconnection is primal. It's a silent affirmation. You are here with me, and I am here with you completely. That's why the deep gaze is the first and perhaps most revealing sign of sincere emotional attachment. It's not something that can be faked or forced. It's an unconscious offering, a moment where two people exist without masks. And in that shared gaze, love manifests not with grand declarations, but in the quiet certainty that here, in this space, there is no more need to hide. Number 2, he puts your happiness before his own. In Jungian psychology, true intimacy is the reconciliation of opposites. It's the meeting of two separate beings who transform into something greater than the sum of their parts. This sacred union, which Jung called the conjunctio, is not just about physical fulfillment, but the alchemy of two souls joining in mutual surrender. And this is never more evident than in the way a man approaches shared happiness when he is truly in love. Desire seeks its own satisfaction, but love seeks communion. When a man puts your happiness before his own, it's not just generosity, it is an unconscious act of devotion, a silent promise that your joy is inseparable from his. Jung believed that the shadow, all the repressed, unconscious parts of our psyche, often governs our baser instincts, including selfish desire. But when a man loves deeply, something remarkable happens. His higher self takes precedence over his primary impulses. He delays his own satisfaction not because he has to, but because the act of giving becomes a reward in itself. This is the union of opposites in its purest form. The masculine drive to conquer is balanced by the feminine principle of receptivity. In this balance, physical closeness transforms from a purely physical act into a sacred exchange. You'll notice it in the way he observes your reactions, remembers what brings you joy, and derives sincere satisfaction from seeing you fulfilled. His attention isn't for show. It's instinctive, as if your body were an extension of his own. Compare this to relationships based solely on the physical, where desire consumes. It takes what it wants without true concern for the other. Love, on the other hand, nourishes. A man driven by infatuation might focus on his own fulfillment, but a man in love finds himself completely moved by yours. Jung explained this shift through the influence of his anima, that inner feminine part that guides him toward empathy, tenderness, and a desire for a fusion that goes beyond the physical. This is why the simplest gestures, like him staying close afterward or sincerely asking, "Did you enjoy that?" Zrenia say more about his heart than any grand declaration, and this selflessness extends far beyond the bedroom. Jung saw relationships as mirrors that reflect back to us the parts of ourselves we need to confront or heal. A man who gives without reservation in moments of intimacy is often a man who has confronted his own shadows, his fears of not being enough, his need to control everything, and has emerged ready to serve rather than to take. This vulnerability is the very sign of true love. It's not a matter of perfection, but of presence. When he prioritizes your happiness, it's as if he's whispering with his body what words can never fully express. You are sacred to me. Ultimately, this behavior is the fingerprint of love, impossible to fake, and so deeply authentic. It proves his attachment isn't just superficial. It runs deep into his soul, and according to Jung, that is where the most profound transformations begin. Number 3, tenderness and emotional openness. Afterwards, the moments after intimacy often say more about a man's true feelings than the act itself. Carl Jung understood that physical proximity has the power to break down defenses, to temporarily quiet the ego, and to allow the unconscious to rise to the surface. When a man is deeply in love, the experience becomes more than just a culminating point. It becomes a gateway to his emotional vulnerability. This is why his behavior, after the moment of closeness, is so revealing. The way he holds you, the words he says, the fragility he shows once the passion has subsided, all of this is not a series of conscious choices, but unconscious revelations about how he truly sees you. Jung spoke of the shadow, those hidden parts of our psyche that we often repress. This is also why many men struggle with vulnerability. Society teaches men to associate strength with emotional control, to withdraw after physical intimacy, as if affection might diminish their manliness. But when a man is truly in love, this programming no longer holds. His shadow, his sensitive, wounded self that he usually keeps well protected, emerges without his consent. He might pull you closer instead of moving away, or confide in you about a childhood memory. Or he might simply rest his forehead against yours in an emotionally charged silence. These are not calculated gestures. They are a rebellion of the psyche against the facade. It's proof that he associates you with safety rather than just the pursuit of pleasure. This post-intimacy vulnerability has a hugely important psychological function. Jung believed that true intimacy requires integration, the fusion of our light and dark sides with another person. When a man remains emotionally present after being close, he is showing you that he trusts you with his entire being, not just his desire. The way he distractedly strokes your hair or shares a very private thought shows that his defenses have crumbled, at least for a moment. Here, there is no performance, no seduction, just the raw, unfiltered truth of his attachment to you. Conversely, in some relationships, you will see a man shut down immediately after the peak of passion. This isn't always proof that he has no feelings, but it often indicates that his connection with you remains primarily physical. The ego quickly rebuilds itself, regaining control where just seconds before it had surrendered. But when a man stays with you, treating these moments afterward as something precious instead of a mere obligation, he is showing you what Jung called the transcendent function in action, the ability of love to dissolve the boundaries between two people. Ultimately, tenderness after closeness is the most honest language of love. It's in these quiet moments, when the body is calm and the mind lowers its guard, that the heart speaks the loudest. A man who opens up to you at this time isn't just sharing his bed, he is sharing his inner world. And according to Jung, this is the purest sign that what he feels goes far beyond desire. It is the recognition of souls. Number 4, synchronized movements and unconscious mimicry. In the silent language of lovers, The deepest truths are not spoken with words. They are revealed in a kind of unconscious choreography where two bodies move in perfect harmony. Carl Jung's theory of the collective unconscious, that great reservoir of primitive memory shared by all of humanity, helps explain why two people who are deeply in love often fall into spontaneous synchronization. When his breathing slows to match yours, when your arms and legs intertwine without thought, naturally, when a simple caress communicates more than 1,000 sentences, these are not coincidences. It is a biological poetry. It is proof that your bond has moved beyond conscious intention and into the realm of instinct, where the ancient wisdom of the body takes over from the calculated movements of the mind. Jung believed this phenomenon came from what he called participation mystique, a primitive state of emotional unity, where the boundaries between individuals temporarily disappear. In everyday life, we maintain very precise control over our bodies and our space. But love has the power to break down these barriers. When a man is emotionally vulnerable, his nervous system begins to resonate with yours. Something science today calls limbic synchrony. His heart rate may even slightly adjust to yours. His gestures might mirror yours like echoes across an invisible bridge between two souls. This isn't imitation, it's communion. It is the body's language declaring out loud what the conscious mind is still too shy to admit. We are no longer two separate people. This synchronization becomes particularly visible in moments of great calm. Notice how, when you are lying side by side in quiet intimacy, you might shift positions at the exact same time or sigh in the same rhythm. These micro-movements show that your bond is operating on a level far deeper than simple social interaction. It's a biological dance engraved in our DNA. Jung would say that it represents the archetype of the divine couple manifesting in real time. It's that ancient symbol of unity found in all mythologies. Your bodies are literally remembering what your minds may have forgotten, that at the highest level, love is a return to oneness. Compare this to the stiff, conscious movements of superficial relationships, where each person remains hyper-aware of their own individuality. Without emotional investment, the body stays on the defensive. Gestures are calculated, and true synchronization has almost no chance of happening. But when love is present, this vigilance disappears. His hand finds the small of your back exactly when you need support. Your head nestles naturally into the crook of his shoulder as if that space was made for you. This effortless alignment is the physical manifestation of what Jung called enantiodromia, the tendency of opposites to come together to create balance. What makes these unconscious movements so powerfully intimate is that they are entirely authentic. Unlike verbal declarations which can be prepared or controlled, the language of a body in love cannot be faked. When his body moves in silent harmony with yours, it is the purest expression of his psyche's recognition. You are not a stranger. You are an extension of himself, not an object, but a home. In these wordless moments, Jung's theories cease to be abstract concepts. They become living truths, because in the alchemy of true connection, two separate beings can, for an instant, touch the divine unity from which we all come. That's why these synchronized movements remain the oldest and most sacred of love's dances, not choreographed by conscious will, but guided by the timeless wisdom of the unconscious. Carl Jung, the famous Swiss psychiatrist, saw love as something much greater than a simple emotion or a social construct. For him, it was a profound psychological event, a collision between the conscious and unconscious mind. At the heart of his theory is the concept of the anima and animus, the hidden feminine and masculine aspects within each of us. According to Jung, every man carries within him an inner feminine image, the anima, shaped by his experiences, his expectations, and even his cultural environment. When he falls deeply in love, he is not just attracted to a woman, he is encountering a reflection of his own soul. This is why the right person doesn't just feel exciting. She feels familiar, as if she has always been a part of him. The stronger the emotional attraction, the more his anima aligns with the essence of the woman he loves, creating a kind of quasi-mystical recognition. This is why some loves seem written in the stars, because, in a way, they were already written in his psyche long before they met. But this projection is only the beginning. For Jung, true intimacy requires something far more vulnerable, the ability to remove the masks we all wear in our daily lives. Most men have been conditioned to repress their sensitivity, to shield themselves to avoid judgment. But when a man is truly in love, something changes profoundly. His unconscious, that vast hidden reservoir of his instincts, fears, and desires, begins to override his defenses. He no longer just wants to be close. He needs it on the deepest level. And that's why you may notice subtle but undeniable changes in his behavior when he is emotionally bonded with you. He might start talking about childhood memories without you asking, or his body language may soften without him realizing it. These are not deliberate choices. They are involuntary surrenders to the depth of the connection he feels. Jung also believed that the unconscious expresses itself most clearly in moments of intimacy, not just with words, but through symbols, sensations, and instinctual gestures. Think of how lovers synchronize their breathing, or the almost sacred tenderness in a man's touch when he is completely emotionally engaged. These aren't just romantic gestures, they are manifestations of the unconscious, weaving two people together. For Jung, love is a form of alchemy. It transforms the raw metal of physical attraction into the gold of spiritual union. And when a man is truly in love, his unconscious betrays him in the most beautiful way. So, how does this hidden psychology reveal itself in the chamber of intimacy? The answer lies in these 4 unmissable behaviors. These are gestures so intimate, so revealing, that they completely bypass the conscious mind. They are not techniques or learned tricks. They are the raw, pure, and unfiltered language of a man's heart. These 4 unconscious behaviors, the deep gaze, the giving of self, the vulnerability after closeness, and the synchronized movements, form the silent language of a man's devotion. The wisdom of Carl Jung reminds us that love is never just an emotion. It is an embodied truth that can be read in those small moments where there are no more masks. If your partner does these things, it's not just a physical connection you share. It's a psychological and spiritual bond that transcends the ordinary. And now, it's your turn. Does your partner show these signs of a deep love? Have you noticed other unconscious behaviors that reveal their true feelings? Share your experience in the comments. We would love to read your stories and impressions. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into love as seen by Jung, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content on psychology and relationships. Want to go deeper? Let us know if you'd like our next video to be about the warning signs according to Jung, those hidden psychological signals that show a relationship might be unhealthy or unfulfilling. In the meantime, always remember one thing: the body never lies about love. Pay attention to what is whispered between the words, and you will always know where you truly stand in his heart.